Hello everyone! Last week I showed you how to print digital stamps even if you don't have a fancy printer. If you haven't watched that video, I will leave the link to it in the description below as well as at the end of the video. In this video I have another example for you doing this technique with this poppy, and I also have one more tip which I haven't mentioned in my previous video. After printing the image, I first trim down the paper so it's slightly smaller than my panel, the cardstock that I will be using. To transfer the image onto my cardstock, I flip the paper with the poppy and covered the back with the graphite of the pencil. Any soft pencil will do. I'm using here HB. I think 2B is better because it's softer, but HB is all I have. After I covered the back, I flipped the paper and I placed it with the printed image facing up on top of my cardstock. I'm going to be doing watercoloring, so I'm using a watercolor paper. I also secured it with a washi at the top and the bottom so it doesn't move, and also so I can lift it and see how it looks. Next, I just went over the lines with a pen. You can also use a pencil. Actually, when I printed the image, I decreased the opacity a bit because I only have a black pen, and this way I could see much better what I already traced with a pen. And here is the tip that I forgot to mention in my previous video. If there is something on the printed image you don't like, you can just change it while going over the lines or even before that, so you know where you want to do the changes. Here I did very small changes. I didn't transfer any of the detail lines inside of the petals and the leaves. The middle of the flower I ignored completely. I did not do the details with the pen. I will be just dropping black watercolor paint in the middle. And the flowers that are not open yet, I didn't add any of the details at the top. So you don't have to transfer the image exactly and do your own thing. Here, for example, you could just transfer the main flower with some leaves and leave out the rest. This is all completely up to you. Let's see if the image transferred, and it did. It looks pretty good. The lines are visible, so now I can start coloring. I'm going to do no line coloring here, but you could also do one more step and go over the lines with a black fine liner. Make sure the fine liner works with your coloring method, and also I would recommend a smoother cardstock. But as I said, I'm doing a no line coloring. I will show you all the coloring with some music, and I will be back after that to do finishing touches and also make the card. almost done with coloring. I wish I used coloring pencils to add a little bit of shading. Last week I made a video with yellow flowers. I did no-line coloring as well, just with a printed image. And to add details and shadows, I used coloring pencils. For me, that's much easier than with watercolors. I do like it. You still see the individual petals, so it's not one huge blob. That's where I struggle when doing no-line coloring, separating those petals. Here I also added splatter, red and green, and I also used gold paints, which I also used to paint the edges of the watercolor panel. I just didn't film it. Here is the finished card. I didn't add a greeting, I just adhered the panel directly on top of a white card base, and that's it. I have two videos about digital stamps and how to use them. One is printing directly onto a cardstock, and the other one is printing onto a printed paper and then transferring it onto a cardstock, which is the technique I used in this video. Both videos have more information, so make sure you check it out. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any questions, ask in the comments, and I will see you in my next video.